What's up, YouTube? I'm back. So I know I haven't made any new content in maybe a month or so. It has been crazy. We got that robotic welder, got slammed with a bunch of projects. We've made maybe 500 kind of complicated weldment type parts over the last month. So I quite literally have been working 24/7 on stuff like that. So I'm super bad about making instructions. So I feel like my New Year's resolution for April of 2025 is to really get on this instruction train. So lowering blocks was one where I've had a couple little mishaps with some lowering block stuff, and it's all like understandable stuff. And I feel like, sometimes it's like, well, how it should work this way because that's how I designed it. But if you don't ever tell anybody that's how you designed it, how can you expect them to understand that that's what you were thinking when you designed it? So that's kind of the thing that I've run across. It's kind of weird being on the end of making instructions. I can't lie. Like, it's just not something that I've ever really had to do. So I probably should have gotten on this page a little earlier. I know in other videos I've kind of talked about, some more instruction stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead. Let's go through these. Let's go through lowering blocks in general. What my vision was for them, the problem I was trying to solve when I made them, the things that, the expectation of what is going to happen to make them fit, or what you need to do to make them fit, things like that. So also I'm going to start making them too where they are solid. They don't have any pockets on the top, because it turns out that there's a bunch of housing perches that are shorter than the block. So I made the block to match the perches that I make, not really considering the fact that there's a whole bunch of other perches out there. So that's something I'm gonna fix or remedy here now, right? I'm gonna probably start making them in the next 2 weeks so I can have them in stock. So yeah, so here's our kind of the flagship lowering block. 1 inch. I also make them 1.5 inches tall. The register in the bottom is 9/16. The reason it's 9/16 is because a regular cap screw, right there, you can see that, guys, 9/16, and you can see that fits inside of there really, really nice. I don't have to do any modifications. The top of the block is drilled 3/8/16. Then there's a stainless steel insert in it, and then that cap screw threads in there, sets you up. So here is also another cap screw right there. This cap screw is fine thread, comes with a mechanical swedge lock style nut right there. It kind of mimics like what a Calvert spring already has. I know that I've had countless people ask me, what is this bolt for? And I know that there's been confusion about what it's for, and all that it's for is replacing the bolt that's in the spring. So it's long enough that it'll easily do all the Calvert springs, and it'll likely do some of the multi-leaf springs that are out there. So you're probably asking yourself, why would I need to replace this bolt? So what happens is there are lots of springs that the bolt in the center of the spring, the head of it is 1/2 inch. So it's like a cap screw that maybe it's been machined, or it's some sort of reduced head or something like that. So in fact, I actually have I pulled this one out of a Calvert spring, and so you can clearly see, well, maybe you can't see. Let's see if I can turn this so you can clearly see. Let's see if this is gonna be even remotely viable. Yeah, about 485, right there, right, 485, 487. And then you'll notice on a regular non-machined cap screw, you got 553, right? So that's just a little bit of difference you can see right there. It's enough difference that this guy is a little loose in there, whereas that guy is nice and tight. Kind of what we're after. So I'm gonna flip this around. Here's a Calvert spring right here. It's actually a Chevy 2 spring, and you can see that small head bolt, right? I actually just stole this bolt out of the other spring. So that's the spring, that's the bolt that came with it. If I take my block and drop it on there, you can tell that I got some movement. I'm gonna get a little sidetracked here. These are the generic style housing perches, 1/4 inch press brake plate. This is would come in my Chevy 2 kit or similar. You can buy these on the website. I make those so they have the 1/2 inch hole in them because there's still a lot of springs out there that have this 1/2 inch hole. So it's easy to make this hole bigger. It's a lot harder to make this hole smaller. So also my through bolt housing perch, which is right there. Same story. That thing locks and loads on there nice. And then with Chevy 2s, all the housing perches have 2 sets of holes. This will move the housing forward 1 inch, or if you rotate it around, it could move it. Sorry, it'll move this backwards 1 inch, or it can move it forward 1 inch, depending on which orientation you want to put in. I could put 3 holes in this, but I just don't want to have extra material missing. All you have to do is just know which direction you're trying to move it and move it the right way, right? So, and if you really need that 3rd hole, you could just drill it. But I don't like putting unnecessary holes in things if I don't have to. I'd almost prefer to make these things so they didn't have extra holes, but that just, it makes it so I have to have too many applications. So yeah, and then you could see there, that one's got that too. So there's that 1/2 inch register. That thing fits on there nice. But the lowering block does not fit on there nice, right? So if I take that bolt out and put this bolt in, then I'll be dialed in. So hopefully that explains why this extra bolt comes with it. So moving on, this is only 1/2 of it, right? This is that bottom register. So this is easy to do. You don't need a grinder, you don't need any kind of parts pieces. You just take that bolt out, put this bolt in, and then your register is dialed in. But the problem will come in is now your housing is this size, but your block is that size, and you can see that those won't go together. So you can do a couple of things here. You can drill your perch out to 9/16, or this is just threaded in. Unthread this guy, grab your drill, unchuck your drill. You could do this with a lathe too, but I figure there's probably better chances that somebody's got a drill. Don't tighten it down because you don't really want to booger the threads up. Grab that like that. We're gonna walk over. You could let's get this thing going down. You could use that. Use that. Or you could use that. Or you could use, that's probably a little sketchy to hold on to, but you get the point. So you could trim the bolt down a little bit and then put it back in the block. Maybe put a dab of red Loctite in there so you never have to take it back out again. And maybe you won't be able to because you covered it in too much red Loctite. One can never tell. And that gets you covered, right? That puts you together. That makes it so this register matches the housing. The bottom register matches the spring, and then these things, that's locked and loaded, it's not coming apart. These blocks are solid. I just buy solid 60-61 bar and then machine it into this shape. So I put all these 1/4 inch registers on the outside, or 1/4 inch holes all the way around. That makes it so you could take these little dowel pins right here that come in this bag just looking like this. You put the dowel pins in these holes, and then when you stack these guys up, they're locked and loaded. So I've been asked before, do I really need to use the dowels? Because I could tell you, the first time I tried it, I put the dowels in this, then put these together, and I wasn't gonna get them back apart without destroying them. So we're not destroying them, that's not fair. They're not gonna be destroyed, but they're gonna have some dings, dents, scratches. They're not gonna be this beautiful anodized finish anymore, right? It was impressive how tight it was and how hard it was to get it to come apart. So these little tension pins hold really tight. I would argue that this is better because you have an additional register, but also that is not gonna come out of there. When you add the load, the tension of the U-bolt on there, holding that thing together, that's not coming out of there. Like that's a 9/16 hole surrounded by all that material. And that's a cap screw with 3/4 inch of thread on it, or sorry, 1/2 inch of thread on it, threaded into the top of that. This is gonna be extremely difficult to get this to come back apart. So, do you need to use the dowel pins? I would say it's preference at that point. Should you use them? Well, I made it so you can, so it wouldn't hurt. But yeah, probably not totally necessary. Okay, so moving on. So you can see these got all these cool pockets on them. There's even a fillet in the corner down there. I mean, this is just the nicest lowering block you could possibly make. Is it the cheapest block? Absolutely not. Is it the nicest? Absolutely. So the thing about these things is that those cast ones, they fracture and break, and then the rear end's loose. The steel ones don't break, but they're really, really heavy. These are still pretty light. Got these lightning pockets in there. So I didn't go ham and make these giant pockets. There's lots of material on the outside. And you'll notice that my perch is that long. Sits on there. You can't even see the perch sticking out from the sides of the block. Maybe just a little tiny bit, right? But that thing sits on there and it takes up the whole space. So that is good contact. It's not gonna squish. It's not gonna have any problems. There are some housing perches out here that are like missing 3/4 of an inch off this edge. And what ends up happening is the housing perch lands across the pocket. That sucks. And so I had a suggestion from a guy and he was like, man, do you think you could make them where they didn't have the pockets? Sure can. So that is gonna be the thing. So I'm gonna have these, there's gonna be another set of options, 1 inch tall, 1.5 inches tall. Those are the only two heights that I'm going to make in these things. The reason I make them in 1 inch and 1.5 inches is because the material is reasonable. If I could get more, if the material wasn't so expensive, then it would be a different story. I source it from Competitive Metal here locally, and they source it from local mills. And so it's not inexpensive, but it's not like when we're talking about, this is just a block, right? Like this is a piece of aluminum with some holes in it. It's kind of expensive for what it is, but it serves its purpose. So 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and then you're gonna have the option for pocket and no pocket. I already did, so this is like the angle machined one. You can see that one has pockets. That particular application that we were talking about doing, here you go, this is no pockets. So you could definitely tell that pocket takes some weight out of this thing. Like it's most definitely heavier. I did not put it on the scale to weigh it, but it is most certainly heavier. I also added holes in the bottom because now, so I make this this angled block at 1 1/4 tall right across this pin center line. I can make it a little bit smaller. I'm not gonna make them smaller. I'm gonna make them 1 1/4 inches because I've already written all the programs. I've already done all the legwork and this works and I know exactly what it takes to make them and I know exactly what material it is. Ooh, these are 1 1/4 inches tall right here, right across the pin center line. They'll get a little bit taller and a little bit shorter as the angle increases. So as I was saying 30 seconds ago before I started rambling about nothing, all these holes are in the bottom right here. Here's your pins and you could stack these together. So now you can have, this is 2 1/4 inches tall as measured at the pin center line, and they can be registered together, locked together, all the stuff. So all the same features apply. This cap screw, same program. The bottom bolt, same program, right? So all that stuff is all the same. So yeah, hopefully that clarifies any of the potential installation issues or problems with angled blocks or the regular flat blocks. They're the same thing. It's just an angled one has an angle on the top of it and a flat one does not have an angle on the top of it. But all of the parts and all the pieces, all the things that they come with are all exactly the same. The diameter of the register in the bottom is the same. The bolt in the top is the same, or the cap screw. All that stuff is the same. The dowel pins, you name it, all the same. So yeah, hopefully that helps to clear that up. I sell these as a pair with the dowel pins for like $195 on the website. I think these units are $200 for a pair, 2, 4, 6 degree. And then a single, I can't remember what a single is. You can check the website and check it all out. So yeah, but that's, hopefully that makes all the sense in the world as far as blocks and stuff are concerned. And I can't really think of anything else. Check my notes. Yep, angle blocks. So no pockets, angle, no angle, stack. All of them are stackable now, except for you can't, I don't want to put them on this angled side. So I didn't put the holes in the angled side. The holes are only in the bottom. So this would go on the top like that. Other than that, I can't really, let me know. Hopefully this helps you with your selection on your blocks. Hopefully it gets you, hopefully it answers the questions that I sometimes answer, sometimes miss, or whatever the situation is, and hopefully that clears up any confusion about what you're gonna receive. So yeah, I think that's good. Till next time, YouTube, I will catch you later.